What's up guys, Junior Far here, ex-professional boxer, now fight analyst. Got a few things to talk about today. I want to just cover everything that happened on the weekend. So first thing, Zuffa Boxing. Their first show basically just happened. Still a lot of questions around what's actually going to happen, because when Dana White and Turki Al-Sheikh first came out, they said they weren't going to work with the bouts. Now that's pretty much gone, because they signed on Opetaia. Opetaia is talking about unifications and undisputed, so they are still going to work with the belts. The other thing is that they put on a show in the Apex. I hate shows at the Apex, man. So those who don't know, I follow the UFC, not too closely, but I follow the UFC. You know, I come from City Kickboxing, so I follow all my friends. And during the time when they had fights at the Apex, it was awesome because it kept the fights going, but there's just no atmosphere there, right? And just softly introducing themselves into the world of boxing, and it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great either. Something that I did not like about the Zuffa show is that they made the fighters wear like branded Zuffa trunks. Zero personality for the fighters. I did not like that. I liked the days when the UFC fighters got to wear their own shorts, and they see a lot of like brands and stuff on their shorts and their sponsors. That's cool, you know. Gives them a bit of personality. It shows off the people that are backing them. It gives them a bit more money for the fighters because of sponsorship deals. Now they don't get to do that. Now it's just all... Who's sponsoring UFC now? Is it Reebok? No, used to be Reebok. Venom. So Venom is sponsoring now, and now it's just all their gear. And then now all the UFC fighters are wearing their gear. And it felt the same watching these guys, and they wear these shorts, these trunks. And it's just Zuffa. Boring, bro. That was another thing I did not like. Is it going to change boxing like they claimed in the beginning? I guess we'll see. Only because of who they're signing, right? So they're signing some big names. Some pretty well-established names. I thought they were very lucky in signing Opetaia. I thought he's probably the biggest name that you can get with the least resistance. He's a very, very focused young man, focused to getting the belts. And if you can deliver him the belts, doesn't really matter what the number says on the contract. Give me the belts, I'll deliver. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about that whole situation. I felt like Zuffa was just very lucky with Opetaia, that they're dealing with someone so focused on being undisputed. What is next for him? So he is not fighting a unification fight next. He's not, because he's fighting, I guess, in a few months, and he said that in his contract it said that he is going to be fighting in America against an American, so that they can introduce him to the American market. Makes sense. Although I feel like he's basically done with the fights, with the smaller level fights, right? He's ready for a unification fight. I would have loved that to be next, but it's not. The only American fighter worth fighting would be Zurdo Ramirez. And Zurdo is, of course, booked to fight David Benavidez, which is going to be a spectacular fight, man. I can't wait for Zurdo Ramirez and Benavidez to fight. It's going to be insane. But guaranteed Opetaia is going to be there. Sheesh, golden hour. Oh my gosh. If only I was 20 kgs lighter, then it would kind of make a difference. But now it just shines the extra fat on my face. Come visit me in about 2 months when I'm a bit lighter. Anyway, so Opetaia is going to be fighting in America against an American next. I haven't had a proper look at the rankings just yet on who he could fight, but it's going to be someone not quite at his level. Well, mind you, I don't think anyone at his weight class is at his level. I believe he's like, cream of the crop, bro. He's right at the top. So he's going to be fighting someone And then we're going to have Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. They're going to fight. And then hopefully, I think the best outcome would be if Zurdo Ramirez won. And then Zurdo Ramirez versus Jai Opetaia. The only reason why I say that is because I think if Benavidez wins, I don't know if he's going to fight Jai Opetaia. Because I don't think cruiserweight is his weight. Like, cruiserweight is just a bit big for him. He's going to look very, very normal next to Jai Opetaia. And Jai Opetaia, he's cruiser, but he could easily go into heavy. These guys, Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez, they're like super middleweights that came into light heavyweight and now they're fighting at cruiserweight. These aren't naturally big guys. Even though they are very, very big dudes, Jai Opetaia is bigger than them. So, if David Benavidez wins, I feel like he's gonna just avoid Jai Opetaia and then go back down, and then vacate the cruiserweight championship belts, and then it'll just be messy again, and then so that's what I don't want. Even though that might actually happen, because Zurdo Ramirez versus David Benavidez, yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards David Benavidez, the monster. If David Benavidez does decide to fight Jai Opetaia, if he wins against Zurdo Ramirez, whoa, that'd be an interesting fight. I still think Zurdo Ramirez versus Jai Opetaia is a great fight. But if David Benavidez gets it done against Zurdo, and then Jai versus David Benavidez, whew, that'll be a cool fight, man. Anyway, that's what's happened with Jai Opetaia. He's going to be fighting an American, and then we'll see from there. Hopefully we get a unification fight sooner than later. He had a little face-off with Mikhailian, who is the other belt holder. He's a WBC champion. He fought Badu Jack last year sometime, and he lost. And then he rematched him not too long ago, and he won. So he reclaimed his WBC belt. He is now the other champion. Noel Mikhailian will probably fight Jai Opetaia later on this year, I believe. I believe Jai Opetaia is going to have his American debut, and then we'll hopefully line up Noel Mikhailian versus Jai Opetaia. Between that, it'll be Ramirez versus David Benavidez. And then I guess the winner of both of them fight each other undisputed. Hopefully we get that at the end of this year or at the start of next year. That'll be awesome. And then Jai Opetaia gets to come into heavyweight and then do his thing. Oh, can't wait to see that. Also on the note, there has been talks about Zuffa Boxing talking to Alexander Usyk. Not too much has come out of that. I haven't heard anything apart from them claiming that they talked to Alexander Usyk, and it's a possibility. We'll see what happens. But if that is true, if Usyk does sign on with Zuffa, because to me, I don't think it makes sense financially, but then again, Usyk's made enough money, and I think if he wants to, like if he wants to, if he felt bored at where he's at right now, because really, what's happening? What's there for him? He turned down the fight with Fabio Wardley because Parker didn't win. He said if Parker won, he would have maybe considered, but Fabio Wardley, he just brushed him off. Now that he's in that, and we don't know what's going to happen next, maybe he signs up with Zuffa, and then that's where I'm just thinking, whoa, if he signs up with Zuffa, and Jai Opetaia is there as well, maybe that fight actually does happen, right? That'll be cool. As long as it's not at the Apex once again. So what is next for Alexander Usyk, right? Because he called out Deontay Wilder just the other day. Derek Chisora signs a contract and he calls Deontay Wilder and he said that he's done his part, and then basically he says to Wilder to do your part, sign the contract, and I'll see you in the ring. So that's pretty much a given, right? Deontay Wilder versus Derek Chisora. This is something that I did not think we were going to see. Do you guys remember after Joseph Parker beat up Derek Chisora badly? Do you remember that on their second fight? The first fight was a good fight. The second fight with Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora. Joseph Parker whipped him, bro. And that was that fight that we all were thinking, oh man, retire. Because it just starts to get uncomfortable to watch. That fight just started getting uncomfortable to watch. And I remember after that, he was talking about possibly fighting Deontay Wilder, and we all thought he was crazy. Fast forward a few years, present day, now what's actually happening? Derek Chisora is lasting longer than I thought, right? Especially with his recent win, with his last win against Joe Joyce. That really surprised me. So, the guy is tough as nails, man. Derek Chisora is going to be fighting Deontay Wilder. That's an interesting fight, right? I believe if Deontay Wilder gets back to his normal stance and his normal style, because I was there when his style basically changed. When he changed his style into a more back foot mover, boxer type of style, I didn't like that. Because he took away his best weapon. His best weapon was his power. And to throw your shots powerfully, you need to be planted. So your stance needs to be firm on the canvas and moving around, basically stalking your opponent, right? You're stalking your opponent, making them move, because they know that you have the power, then they're not going to fight with you, right? But if you're willingly moving back, if you're willingly moving your foundation around willy-nilly, where's the power? You know what I mean? Guaranteed there is still power there because he's Deontay Wilder, but it's not as threatening. So if Wilder comes in with his old style, where he plants his feet and keeps his guard long like this, whoa, we could be seeing a knockout, right? If he doesn't, then this could possibly be a stinker of a fight. If Deontay Wilder starts to move around, because we all know what Derek Chisora is going to do. He's going to hide behind his high guard, come forward, and try to knock him out. So this depends on what version of Deontay Wilder comes in, right? Who comes into the ring? The Bronze Bomber? The Bronze Bomber where he's stalking his opponent? Or the version of Deontay Wilder that we've seen in his last two fights, which hasn't been that impressive. He moves around too much. Anyway, I guess that's me. Junior Fire, ex-professional boxer. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.